going to get our TR6 out and do some driving. But before we do, we want to go through our checklist, do a little maintenance work, look things over. First thing we're going to do is pop the hood, do a visual inspection and make sure everything's okay. All right, with the hood open, what we're trying to do is a visual inspection. We're going to look over all of our belts. We want to look over our hoses. We want to check our water in our radiator. We want to check our carburetors. We're going to check our brake fluid, and this car needs a little bit of brake fluid right now. We're basically just looking everything over. Next, we're going to take a look at our battery. You want to clean your battery terminals at least once a year. Any auto parts store has a little battery cleaner. It's not hard to do. You clean both the terminals and the cables, and just kind of look everything over and see if anything's wrong. The next thing we want to do is test the battery. We're using a battery saver. This is a battery maintenance tool, but it also will test the voltage in the battery, and also you can test it under load. You can try starting the car and it will see what the condition the battery's really in. I like to clean up under the hood when I'm doing a spring check. It's a good way to kind of look everything over as you clean, and plus you can see where there's any oil or any little problems starting. It's just a good thing to do. With under the hood taken care of, we're going to put the car up on the lift. Obviously, if you don't have a lift, you can do this with jack stands. And then we're going to kind of look underneath and do the same kind of stuff. We're going to clean up a little bit. I love CRC's brake clean. It works great for just general cleanup, and it doesn't really take paint off or anything. And then we're just looking everything over. We're looking for oil leaks. We're going to check the wheels and see if they're loose. It turns out our wheel is a little bit loose. The wheel bearings, they do kind of settle, and you do need to tighten them occasionally. Obviously, sometimes you even need to replace them, but ours are okay. They just need to be snugged up a little bit. All right, next we're going to take a light and look over our tires. We're looking for uneven tread. We're looking for bits of metal in the tires. At that point, we want to then look at our date codes. The date codes are pretty easy to see. They're the month and the year. They're embedded in the numbers in the tire. Next, we want to take our tire gauge. Obviously, we want to make sure our pressures are correct. Your tires are going to lose 5-6 pounds over the winter, even if there's nothing really wrong with them. It's pretty common. With the basic inspection taken care of, it's time to look over our logbook. We keep a logbook on every car so we know when things need to be done. And our logbook's telling us this time that we need to do an oil change on this TR6. All right, before we do an oil change, we want to warm the car up. That gets the oil flowing a little bit. It just makes for a better oil change. But the car's been sitting for about 6 months, and you don't really want to start a cold engine. What we're going to do is pull a coil wire, turn the engine over for about 30 seconds. That gets the oil pressure up. It gets oil flowing around the engine without damaging it. Then we'll put the coil wire back on and actually start the engine. We'll run it for a few minutes and then change the oil. One of the tricks I've learned over the years is I mark the oil filter. That way you can quickly see when you look under the hood when it's time to change your oil, or at least when the last time you've done it. Everybody's got a favorite oil. Everybody's got an opinion. We like this MPT 1040 full synthetic oil. It offers a lot of protection. It also has zinc, ZDDP additive, which is great for these older cars. It gives some extra lubrication to the cam and lifters and really helps them last a lot longer. Now, if you're using an oil that doesn't have a zinc additive, MPT sells just the additive that you can add to your oil. The last thing we're going to do after we've started the car and run it for a few minutes and build up the oil pressure is we want to look underneath and make sure there are no leaks. Once we do that, we can go for a test drive. All right, while out on your test drive, other than having a bit of fun, you want to listen and feel what your car is doing. Is it rattling? Is it wobbling? Is there any vibration? Are your pedals feeling correct? All right, she runs great. It's time to do some spring driving. If you want to see everything we did, the complete checklist is at classicmotorsports.com.
Support brands that support Classic Motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.